Eamon Khan here for Seconds Out with Johnny Nelson MBE. Johnny, good to see you. Sad to hear that you're a little bit under the weather, but fighting off that cold.
Fighting it off, man. Fighting it off. Everybody's getting it, so I can't complain. There's people worse than me, so we're good.
Can't complain indeed. And look, Adam Azim has got another step up in action in the form of Sergey Lipinets, who's proven that he's got a lot left in the tank, having defeated Robbie Davis Jr. recently. What risks do you think Lipinets poses to Adam Azim this weekend?
The one thing, again, that Adam hasn't got, which is experience. He's been in with high calibre of competition. I don't know if it's 2 or 3 he's lost out of his in his record, and they were to decent opponents. And so he's not come to make up numbers. This is about Adam and his growth and how he's developing as a fighter. How he's because there's a lot of growth left in Adam. So it'd be interesting to see how he dispatches him. And again, you know, he needs to be tested constantly, but not too much, just to bring him on, just to make him believe in his ability.
In the context of the rivalry between himself and Dalton Smith, does he have to put on a scintillating highlight reel knockout to throw it back towards Dalton Smith's team?
He doesn't want to think like that, because if he is historically in our sport, if fighters look at their adversaries and think, right, I've got to do this because he did that, they end up getting turned over. You fight your fight for you. And so he's got to forget about Dalton Smith. And I'm not saying he'll lose to Dalton Smith. What I'm saying is he needs to take his own path, develop, and until he's a fully finished article. Because Dalton Smith is a great fighter, Has he got much growth left in him? I don't know, but there's more growth there for him. But this Dalton Smith right now is just too much of a handful, too dangerous for Adam. And I think it's a step that it's too much of a gamble, and he doesn't have to take it. This is why you have your managers, why you have your promoters to pick the fights at the right time. You know, you can look at fights historically, like Ali or Lennox Lewis. And Lennox Lewis, if he'd have boxed Mike Tyson early on in his career, would the result be the same? Even though boxing Evander Holyfield, you've got to be smart about when you do these things, when you take certain fights. If I was Dalton Smith, I'd try and push that fight, keep pressuring, try and embarrass him in that fight. The sooner the better, because the longer it goes on, the better Adam gets. The better he gets, the more confidence he gets. The more confidence he gets, the harder the fight will be between he and Dalton.
Apart from experience, which you mentioned is a factor that's missing from Adam Azim's game, which will come naturally, is there anything other that you want to see from Adam, maybe different in his game, the full array of his talents that you haven't seen so far?
No, I just, listen, it's silly to say I want to see him get hit, see how he survives. Yeah. You don't want that from any fighter, because one punch changes anything. I just need to see each time he fights, he grows, gets better. Each time he fights, you think, you're nodding your head thinking, this boy's not learning. And I probably thought that about three or 4 fights ago. But then each fight now, I'm nodding thinking, all right, he's getting better. All right, that's good. And you've got to take your time with these things. Yes, bad.
Jumping in on the... Go on, today.
Johnny Nelson, the GOAT, the GOAT himself.
This guy knows. If there's anybody that knows the more than Spencer feeling about boxing, it's him.
But I don't talk about that,
innit? I'm doing it on purpose.
I don't know.
I'm good, man.
Appreciate the welcomed interruption there from Tunde. Jumping back in, Johnny. Look, Adam Azim come under a little bit of criticism for going on Sky Sports and saying that he was closing the gap on Gervonta Davis by Eddie Hearn on the stomping ground. He said that he was, just to paraphrase him, deluded in saying that he was in that echelon right now.
I'm surprised with Eddie, because Eddie is one of the few people that, just because there's a name, just because there's a big name out there, it's wrong to put your name in that same sentence. And if Adam's talking like that now, those fights could become a reality within a year, within 18 months. So I think on this one, I just think Eddie's probably, he's a promoter. He's going to promote his stable. He's going to promote his fights as much as he can. For him to, I don't think he's poo-pooed it, so I don't know exactly what he said. But just because, your Gervontas and people like that, you've seen them up there thinking, oh my God, this guy's unbelievable. There's nobody that's from the UK could actually mix it with those boys. You're not thinking big. You're not thinking bigger. I look at Adam. It's a big step for him. But it's not an impossible step. Time's going to tell its own story.
So there are other fights, of course, here on the undercard, and Callum Simpson and Scott Forrest both getting quick run-outs as well. Jamie Takiva as well too, an important fight for himself. What takes your eye on the undercard?
You know what? I actually like the fact that Callum and Scott back out again 3 weeks later. This is what fighters want to better themselves, you know, and it shows. As soon as they box on the Saturday, we're back in the gym on the Monday to prove to look, I'm fight ready. You know, this is how it should be. And so for Callum and Scott, both of them, I've got to commend them, because most fighters will fight and then they'll disappear for a few months and get back in the gym to get the weight off, and get back in the gym to get prepared for a fight. I think with these two here, it's showing the professionalism. I think for the promoter, you've got to commend the promoter for getting them back out there ASAP. So, you know, I commend it. That's how it should be.
Johnny, I didn't watch the broadcast for Callum Simpson's last fight, but I did read online, someone said that it emotionally affected you seeing the VT of Callum Simpson and you had to take a moment to step away from the broadcast. Was that the case? And seeing what Callum had to go through and it being on that videotape?
Yeah, of course. But I'm a father, so when you see stuff like that, of course you're gonna think about these things. You guys are young, man, so you probably don't see that. so as a father, I looked at that and you think about your own kids. So I understand how tough it was, and so to me, I think it was a great piece put together. And it was actually the first time I saw it. So I saw it at the same time as everybody else. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta leave. So that's just how it was.
Fair enough. Let's go and move on to the wider sphere in boxing. I want to ask you about this Eubank Jr versus Conor Benn rehydration clause. Is getting a lot of talk about it. Do you understand why Chris Eubank Jr is signed to it, and what do you think will be the detriment to him on the night, having to rehydrate to just 170?
You know, our sport, you know, there's a lot of kidology in our sport. And Chris Eubank Jr, he negotiated a lot in this deal that suited him. So, and if he wasn't happy with it, it won't be happening. Don't make him fool you, and don't let it, or anybody else, because what happens is he'll make out, so I'm struggling, it's really, really hard, I can't do this. This boy, I don't think it'll make a difference to him. But everybody else is thinking, oh my God, he's going to struggle. He's hoping Conor Benn's camp and Eddie and Cole think, oh, he's struggling, he's going to struggle, he'll be weak at the weight. I'm not buying it. I ain't buying it, you know, so don't be suckered in by it. He's giving you all he's sending you all a bit of a runaround, so you believe something that's not true. And he's got the cat amongst the pigeon. That's what you're all doing. Oh my God, he's going to struggle with the weight. Nah, I'm not buying it.
I'm going to try and find out the details, but what a stumbling block appeared to be was the 55-45, and Benchland was saying he brought him down to what he felt to be an acceptable point. Do you feel that Chris Eubank Jr should have stayed there? We don't know what the details are, but should you have accepted any less than 55?
You know, this fight, Chris has negotiated what suits him. And if there's a deal on the table and there's £100 available, and and for you in a deal, and you're saying, well, give me 50 quid, and I'm arguing over, he said, no, I can't afford that, I'll give you 45 quid. Then when you've done the deal, you realise you could have got £100 if you pushed it on enough. You know what? That's all he's done. He's negotiated what suits him, got the best for him. If he's happy with it, once you've signed the deal, you've signed the deal. And Chris he's in the driving seat. That's why he's got the biggest lion's share.
Moving on to the heavyweight division, Dylan White has come out and said he loved the fight with Anthony Joshua again, but it suggested that right now he feels he's finished in the game. Do you get the signals or feelings that Anthony Joshua is finished?
In regards to appetite, yeah. If I'm honest with you, in regards to appetite, I believe that too. I think you need bad man. I believe that AJ and Tyson are at the stage in their career where it's now about appetite. These guys have achieved everything that every fighter would want to do, financially as well as medals, as well as belts. So it's about appetite. So I do believe the appetite for AJ. Put it this way: if the appetite was still the same as what it was, AJ would be chasing Danny Dubois. Do you remember when Lance Lewis lost to Azim and Lloyd McCall in the ring? He said, "I want the rematch straight away." You know, people are forgetting the conversation. You know, and then why he's not saying to AJ, "Well, why don't you try and chase that one? Why are you not talking about Danny Dubois? You're not saying to Eddie, why are you chasing Danny Dubois? You know, right, the wrong. If it was that wrong, it's like that conversation's been forgotten. So I do believe it's probably. I think it's now the big fights that he's chasing, you know, and he'd probably be. I've been disappointed in the Tyson Fury situation. I actually think his appetite is not the same as what it was.
Let me offer you the other side of that conversation, because when I've had off-the-record conversations with some of Joshua's team, they said that the desire is still there. He wants to go chase world titles. He's put it out this year that he wants to win the world title for the third time, or Tyson Fury. That sounds like a man who does have some desire. What does he have to prove to you that he does have that desire? And also, when it came to just dissecting the fight with Robert McCracken, his former trainer, he just kind of felt that, I guess he didn't strictly say it wasn't a lack of desire, but he just said it was just heavyweight boxing that he got caught with a shot against Dubois.
I'll tell you what it is. Hear out of AJ's mouth, not his people's mouth. Hear out of AJ's mouth. I can big it up and push it, and if I was working for AJ, you'd push it and say he wants this, he wants that. Listen to AJ. Listen to what he's got to say. Listen to the words, then question the words. Ask him the question. Well, why are you not talking about getting that rematch straight away? You know, why are you looking past? Oh, let's pretend that. That's his opportunity to get a title for the third time. You know, and the opportunity's there because I'm quite sure Daniel Dubois would say, yeah, I'll do that again. So, and because there's been no fight announced yet for AJ yet. You know, when they're talking, how are they going to drop it? I don't know. So, you know, that's what your camp are for. That's what your promotion's for. They're there to big you up. They're there to talk on your behalf. They're there to promote you.
Does a fight with Deontay Wilder show desire for you?
It's an intriguing one, but it's all talk. You know, it's all talk until these situations are done. It's all talk. Let's see what decision he makes with this. You know, it's all talk. It's a curious one because it's a fight we wanted when it was valuable, when it was dangerous, and unfortunately, Deontay Wilder now, from being one of the most feared heavyweights in the world, he isn't anymore. He's not that guy. You know, but it's all talk. Let's see what decision he makes in regards to who he fights next.
I just want to ask you as well, I don't know if you saw the face-off between Dubois and Joe Parker, but Joe Parker has obviously been putting on Daniel Dubois' toes, and Daniel's a bit more out of his shell, but still got Frank kind of responding for him. Did you catch that, and what have you made of the interaction so far between Dubois and Joe?
Daniel Dubois is never going to be the sharpest to respond to whatever's being said to him verbally. He's proved he does his talking when the bell goes. So anybody you put me in front of when it comes to trash talking, Daniel Dubois is not going to win. So Josie Parker, and everybody knows that. If you're in the game, you know that. So don't take too much from that. Remember when Daniel Dubois was around the table with AJ? You know, you thought, wow, what are you doing, Daniel? Daniel, he does his talking when he's in the ring. He's just not good at sitting there, having to use that and that to better him.
Do you think the fame and the bright lights might change him?
Well, if you're 90,000 people at Wembley, and that didn't change him, I don't know what will. The biggest fight that's there against AJ, nah. This young man, he just wants to fight.
Johnny, pleasure. Thanks for giving us out. Much appreciated.